This is Bad Movies We Love, part of the Shice Podcast Network.
If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
Hello, Bad Movie Lovers, and welcome back to Bad Movies We Love. I am your host, Nick Scheist.
The master of this stupid stuff!
March has been a lot of fun, and it has brought with it a lot of new listeners. So if you're a new listener to the show, if you're listening to this for the first time right now, welcome aboard. If you want to learn more about the show, what we're doing, where else you can find me flapping my gums, make sure to check the show notes. There's some clickable links in there that will take you where you need to go. We are wrapping up March here on the show, but as promised, we're closing it out with a 2-day doubleheader. We've been through high school, we've been through spy school, we did some professional spying, then we did some professional touring, and now we find ourselves at a crossroads. And for the first leg of the doubleheader, I was joined by Miss Bethany Summersizzle from Aliens on Fire, and we picked up the guitars and put our cat ears on as we tried to get a record deal and fight capitalism with Josie and the Pussycats. Enjoy.
Here's these 3 girls that are rocking it, and I just want to be like them.
The world in which Josie and the Pussycats takes place is a very sort of vibrant world.
Backdoor lover, totally jerkin'.
It's a crazy movie, honestly.
Stick my spoon in your pudding or something.
Well, at least we always have Bono.
You realize you're crushing my dreams.
Oh, how do you tell a guy at work that he smells really bad?
From this command center, we control the most influential demographic of the entire population. We decide everything, from what clothes are in style to what slang is in vogue.
Feathered tank tops, matching pants, kind of a Buffy meets chicken run.
Feathers are the new rhinestones.
The new word for cool would be jerkin. As in, dude, that's jerkin. Ooh, that's dirty.
Bethany, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, happy to have you, as always. I'm glad that you were able to pick up the ball and run with it for this movie. I don't know if I got to ask you last time if you recall like the first time you sort of watched a bad movie knowing that it's bad but still really enjoying it.
Man, I'd say that that's pretty recent, I feel like, because most of the bad movies that I consider like so bad they're good today, it's like when I watched them for the first time, I was kind of young and not really knowing, so they seemed really good at the time, and now I can appreciate how bad they are, I think now, and now I have more awareness of a movie that's pretty bad. But I think like this one, for instance, it was so, oh my God, it was so good at the time when I saw it. Like, yeah. So I can't remember, like, well, actually, no, I can't. Why am I saying I can't remember the last time I saw a bad movie? It was literally 2 weeks ago. But I think what you're saying, I don't know, maybe I got the question wrong.
No, I was just kind of curious because I grew up in an environment where I was watching stuff that like I kind of knew was bad. Mm-hmm. Like, because I grew up with Godzilla movies, and those are dubbed in English from Japanese, but it's dubbed by like a Canadian studio. So like the inflection points and the way people talk, everything was just always very weird. And at the end of the day, those are like guys in rubber suits, right? So I kind of like always had an understanding of like, this is sort of a a lower bar of film, but I always like really, really enjoyed it. And so I was just curious if there was like something from your childhood where looking back on it, you can recognize like, oh, this was not something that's good, but I loved it.
Oh, something from my childhood. Okay. From my childhood, I was completely oblivious. I mean, I grew up with Power Rangers and like kind of like bad effects and things like that. Obviously, movies that were very dear to my heart that I still remember back, I think back on them and I'm like, man, that they weren't the best. Batman and Robin,
Good one.
I thought that movie was the shit.
It is.
But it's like I don't think there was any time thinking back to my childhood, I don't think there was any time that I thought a bad movie was bad.
All right,
Which
that's
is
fair.
funny. I can't, at least not that I can recall. Maybe I'll remember something when we're done, but
Well, you're the perfect
Isn't
kind of
that
guest for this show then. So it's all kismet. Do you want to do the honors? I see you came decked out in matching attire. So why don't you tell the people what we're talking about today?
we are watching Josie, or we're not watching.
Not this time.
Oh my God. I'm back on my channel right now. We are watching. No, we are discussing Josie and the Pussycat.
Yes, after having watched it recently
Yes.
again. It had been a long time for me in between the first one. Probably 2001 was the last time I watched this movie. So
Oh, wow.
getting to come full circle. And honestly, like having recently watched Spice Girls and Charlie's Angels, which was the year before this, I think really gave me a lot of fun context for like how this movie slots into the time that it's made and some of the sort of jokes and humor that are utilized throughout the film and some of the tongue-in-cheek stuff and the fourth wall breaking and the self-referential self-awareness that the movie likes to use. So I'm glad that this is sort of coming at the end of the month rather than the beginning because I've had these other, rewatch experiences. But let's crack open the film file here and take a look at the details. This movie was directed by Harry Elfont and Deborah Kaplan, also written by Harry Elfont and Deborah Kaplan, based on characters by Richard Goldwater, Dan DeCarlo, and John L. Goldwater, starring Rachel Lee Cook, Tara Reid, and Rosario Dawson, but also featuring, speaking of Spice World, Alan Cumming. And we also get Parker Posey, Gabriel Mann, Paula Costanzo, Missy Pyle, Ari Spears with a nice cameo, Carson Daly with a good cameo as well. The music for this was composed by John Frizzle, cinematography by Matthew Libatique, who is a very well-renowned cinematographer, did Black Swan, Requiem for a Dream, A Star is Born, Pi. Incredible catalog. Edited by Peter Teschner. Production design by Jasna Stefanovic, and costumes by Lisa Evans. I feel like the world in which Josie and the Pussycats takes place is a very sort of vibrant world, similar to Spice Girls in a way, in where like just everything feels very alive almost all the time. Like there's very few quiet scenes. In every scene that we see, every sort of decision that's happening like in the background builds this like very kind of like high stakes world for what we're seeing, even though this is about a band that, is getting a bonus record deal here to replace another band that was theoretically killed in a plane crash. It's a crazy movie, honestly. And I don't know how much I remembered of like the plot or anything about this movie. Like there's some scenes where I was rewatching it like, okay, I remember this. And then most of it was kind of just, I don't know if I didn't get it the first time, like how sort of on its sleeve it wears the identity of what it wants to do with sort of its remarks about capitalism and consumerism and sort of like being punk rock and what that means in a world where capitalism has taken over so many corners of our lives. So I don't know that like I would have ever thought to go back and sort of consider this movie as this like very loud, very fun kind of anti-capitalist message. And maybe it's only because I'm watching it at this point in my life that I'm picking up on that. But even the director said that the movie tanked and, or it bombed, I should say. And people were struggling to sort of understand it because like they maybe mismarketed it. It wasn't for the right audience. Like they kind of were making it rated R, which it gets away with some stuff that we'll talk about later. But she said that she talked to Bono from U2 like within a year after the movie was released, and Bono really liked the movie and appreciated what they were doing. And so at the time when everybody else hated the movie, she was like, well, at least we always have Bono.
That's great. And also Meatloaf sings a little bit in it too.
Does he? When does Meatloaf sing in this?
Well, his song is used. I shouldn't say he sings.
Okay.
But during the part where Wyatt, the music guy, he's like imagining them being the next big band. It's
yeah. He holds up like the empty CD case.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the movie, I feel like the movie influenced a lot of stuff too, like maybe in a not super direct way, but I kind of got like Scott Pilgrim versus the World vibes from it a little bit. And it's super colorful. It's very, I don't want to say hectic, but it's kind of like noisy in the way that its visual style is. And that's, in part because so much of it is based on like packing every frame of the film with some sort of consumer product that it's kind of like stressing on your eyes to try to like see, because the background is loaded with stuff. And then they have like really interesting production design for some of the set pieces as well, like the crazy underground layer that they go into at the like Mega Records sub basement. So I don't know. I feel like the movie is like pretty robustly well made. And when I saw that it cost like $30 million, I'm like, okay, this is a movie that got a pretty big budget to make about a girl punk rock band that strikes it big, So I don't know. I was a little bit surprised to see how well made it was, because a lot of stuff from the era like right before this has a similar tone, I think, both in its costuming and its production design. And so seeing that, the directors made Can't Hardly Wait, and I'm like, okay, I see a lot of sort of similarities between the two of them, but that is much more restrained because it's almost set in what you want to believe is the real world, where this is like, it's hyper realism. So of course, like everything that we're going to see is this like super hyper stylized version of what reality is. And so yeah, I had a lot of fun going back and watching this, and I feel like I actually like got what the movie was trying to do in this instance, versus like the first time I was like, yeah, this just isn't really my thing, and kind of got filed to the back of the filing cabinet there.
What I'm just kind of curious, what made you see it like the first time? Like when you first saw it, you said, well, you remember back in like 2001 seeing it. Like, was it like your sister wanting you to watch it, or you just like randomly put it on? Like, do you remember when you first saw it?
I mean, it was probably Rachel Lee Cook, because I had seen her. I think she's All That. Is that the one with Freddie Prinze? Yeah. So I liked her, and I had seen American Pie. So like I knew Tara Reid, I knew Rosario a little bit. And so I just felt like, yes, it is sort of being marketed to the fans of those movies in that like teen fascination era around the late 90s and early 2000s. And I don't think I saw it in theaters, but like I remember the poster very vividly, and I think I just watched it on cable. And so I probably was easily in and out of it. But yeah, this isn't one that I don't think my sisters have ever mentioned, surprisingly, because my youngest sister is like 8 years younger than me. So she's almost like in the generation that's below me at this point. So we have very sort of like different like pop culture references. Like when I mentioned Jean-Claude Van Damme to her, she's like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, oh my goodness, shed a tear. I failed you. But yeah, I don't think it was them because they were into like Spice Girls. And then they sort of like Spice Girls was 97. They kind of grew up a little bit past that. And then this was sort of just missed them. I think they probably saw it and enjoyed it. It's probably the CD we had because the soundtrack was very popular. And so I remember definitely seeing that. But yeah, like getting to watch this as an adult is kind of like a crazy time machine to go back into. And it's fun though, because yeah, Spice Girls is crazy in the way that it handles, I think, both its topical nature, but also its approach to like understanding that it's a piece of commercial property being made for profit, while then also trying to have fun and still like make fun of the idea that you're doing this thing that is very capitalist. And I feel like Josie and the Pussycats also like taps into that.
Absolutely.
Well, when I first put this actually on the big board for like, oh, I want to do this movie, I was worried because I saw some of the numbers. I'm like, okay, I think this is technically like a bad movie based on how I do the scoring. And then I looked and I was like, uh-oh, I don't think this actually is. And so I was worried. And so I went back and checked again right before we started recording because I was like, I need to be sure at least. So let's take a look at the tail of the tape. It has a IMDb score of 5.7. It has a Metascore of 47. It has a Letterboxd score of 3.6, which is very strong. As a Google users thumbs up rating of 72%. Rotten Tomatoes critic score of 54 and an audience score of 53. So it gives us a Bad Movies We Love total score of 59.1. So right under the threshold for what the cutoff line is for bad movies around here. So I feel like, give or take, I feel like last time I ran it, it was like a 61. So whatever, the ebbs and flows of the universe deducted a few points just to allow me to talk about it on the show.
Yes.
So I'm happy because we got to cover it and I don't have to make any exceptions. I don't have to bend the rules or anything.
No, I think we're right there. We're good.
And I think honestly, like, I don't really think it's a bad movie. I can understand some of the criticisms of it, but I feel like the movie like does the thing that it set out to do. They even rejected money from I think Gibson guitars in order to like keep the true through line of what they're trying to do with the movie, which says a lot. So I think that shows like artistic integrity and commitment to the thing that you're trying to do. And to me, like those two things go a long way. And it helps give me context for what the identity of the movie is. And, you know, if this was a movie where there's all this product placement and then they're taking money from all of these sponsors along the way, and it's just like sort of a weird cash grab, then yeah, it comes across like a little weird. But the fact that they do it in the way that they did is, I think, true to what Josie and the Pussycats as a band also represent, because of course they want success. They want people to hear their music. They want to like be considered good and have a career. But at the same time, when they are presented with like immediate success, there is a lot of questioning of that. Like, how did this happen so fast? You haven't listened to our music. How are we having a concert when we haven't even recorded an album yet? So I think they ask a lot of these sort of internal barometer questions about what the music business is doing. And I feel like what they're saying about the music business is kind of applicable to probably most sort of pop culture businesses. And so I feel like it's a larger criticism of the capitalist structure and how that's begun to influence artistic works like music and movies and stuff like that. So I get that, like, maybe a teenage audience is not like, yeah, let me go see this anti-capitalist movie, right? Like, that's not, you're 13 years old. Are you really thinking that? Probably most people are not. But the movie is like for adults in its subject matter, but it's also like for kids in like every other way. So it exists in a weird in between, in a weird limbo, where I think that's kind of the thing that people didn't know how to respond to it.
And then, of course, there's me, which I didn't understand any of that stuff, and I was just like, here's these 3 girls that are rocking it, and I just want to be like them. Like, that was all I could think about. So I loved the movie because of that, but I totally didn't understand all the other stuff.
Did you see this when you were like, did you see it when it came out in 2001?
Yeah. I didn't see it at the theater, but yeah, I saw it at least within a year of it like coming out, and I thought so I thought that I didn't really know anything about the actual actresses at first. Like, later on I did, but I thought they were a band. And so to my sadness, I was like, okay, there aren't going to be any more albums or anything like that. So I actually, I didn't really understand any of the other stuff that I do now watching it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I said. Like, it's sort of like intended for kids in the way that I feel like if you were to watch it with the volume off, you would sort of see a movie that feels and looks very similar to a lot of other movies that are being made during that time, including like costuming, body language, set design. It has the blueprints of other films made in that era. And then when you actually like listen to all the things that are being said, so much of it is layered with humor that you're not necessarily even thinking all that deeply about the actual like subject matter, because like everybody's funny. Like, they make, of course, Alan Cumming, like he's got the hair and the glasses. Like, all the girls are very particularly costumed. Parker Posey is insanely eccentric, but a lot of fun. So she's almost like
He's my favorite.
but she's almost like, designed like a supervillain. She's got the underground layer. She's got the fancy office. She's got incredible wardrobes as well. So yeah, it kind of reminded me of like, as bad as it is, like she kind of seems like an Inspector Gadget villain a little bit, where not quite Batman level villain, but like definitely doing some nefarious things. And yeah, the movie's just, it's a lot of fun, and it has fun. And I think that's a particular distinction that a lot of these movies around this time just wanted to actually like have fun in the process of making the movie. And you can feel it because like the energy is contagious. And I was I was surprised at how much fun I had. But again, when I haven't watched these movies in like 20 years and then I'm revisiting them, I'm like, wow, I just I was a young boy at the time, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. So it's hard to appreciate when I have no frame of reference. But let me
and there's me, who doesn't recognize a bad movie when she sees it. So perfect.
Well, let me set the table here for the audience and take a look at some of these production notes. So in the beginning, Maggie Gyllenhaal and Zooey Deschanel were the ones who auditioned for the role of Josie. And the directors loved Zooey Deschanel for it, but the studio did not want to cast them at the time because they were both like unknowns. Rachel Lee Cook had some moderate success. She eventually gets the job, but later expressed that she was surprised that she got cast. She said, somehow they gave one of the title roles to me, and I can't sing at all. I don't play guitar. I have no idea. But the producers on this film remembered her from her audition for Can't Hardly Wait. And so both films were written and directed by Kaplan and Elfont. So they remembered her previously. They're like, I think she's the right one for this. Beyonce, Aaliyah, and Left Eye all auditioned for Valerie. And Left Eye actually read for it twice, so got pretty close. And they wanted somebody who was well-versed in comedy. And surprisingly, Beyonce was too quiet and shy at the time, which is like insane to think at this point. And Aaliyah was like too serious and thoughtful. So that role eventually goes to Rosario Dawson. And then Tara Reid didn't even have to audition for this because after American Pie, it's like, oh, she's got good stock. Put her in there. Studio was perfectly happy with it. And although the actresses did not actually perform any of their instruments or the songs, they did take music lessons so that they could look like they played their actual instruments. And the trio went through band camp with the band Powder, learning their characters' instruments and rehearsing the songs for several months before filming so that they could look authentic on screen. The film eventually releases on April 11th of 2001 and grossed $14 million at the box office. So it ends up taking a loss against its estimated budget of $39 million, resulting in what they say is a box office bomb. And Kaplan and Elfont both later attributed the film's failure to the their lack of consideration to the fact the film would be marketed to prepubescent girls. They said, I don't know why we weren't thinking that based on the property coming from Archie Comics, we kind of forgot that's who they were going to sell it to, but that's when the panic set in. They're not going to sell it to the people who are going to understand the movie, and the people they're selling it to aren't going to get it, and that's kind of what happened. In the years, though, subsequent to the film's release, Josie and the Pussycats has been reappraised by critics and found success as a cult classic. The film has been praised for its satirical take on American pop culture and its prescience in satirizing product placement and the corporatization of the music industry. A year after the film's release is when Kaplan met Bono, who said he loved the film, and later elaborated that Bono totally got it. That was within a year of it coming out, when we still thought people were going to get it and it would open people's eyes to the music business. Until social media, we would always say, well, at least Bono got it. So Josie and the Pussycats was released on VHS and DVD by Universal Home Video in August of 2001. The film's theatrical PG-13 rating from the MPAA in the US caused some contention with the licensor Archie Comics, which is more family-friendly. And a family-friendly version of the film that was PG was released alongside the theatrical version on home media. And that version omitted a great deal of profanity and sexual references. The theatrical version was presented in widescreen format, while the family-friendly version was full screen. Not that that matters that much. The movie was released on home media internationally by MGM on December 17th of 2001. But to coincide with the film's 20th anniversary, the film was released on Blu-ray for the first time through Mill Creek Entertainment, September 21st of 2021. And they just carried over most of the extras from the DVD, so you didn't really get too much bonus content. But the thing that I want to point at here is the thing about the rating, which I said I wanted to come back to, because this is based on Archie Comics. Archie Comics essentially disowns this movie while it's bad. While it's considered bad, they're like, we don't want anything to do with this. This is not our brand. But then eventually, once the movie kind of like stabilizes and realize that like people liked it and have fans, Archie Comics comes around, and then I think they ended up, if I read it correctly, endorsing the movie when Riverdale became a TV show. It was used as a way to popularize the show.
Oh, yeah. Came back with their tails between their legs.
Right? Like, oh, yeah, we didn't get it either. I'm sorry. But yeah, so, you know, there's some jokes in this movie. Like, there's a point where Tara Reid's holding a sign, honk if you love pussy, and causing a car pileup. And I was like, wow, they got away with this in a PG-13 movie? And so I kept scratching my head, because obviously, like, they pushed that joke to the limit of what they could. Every time they had a chance to make a joke about that and like hang on it a little bit longer to emphasize it, they did. And that's kind of like one of the no-no words when it comes to the MPAA. So you can't describe it in that way. You could call somebody a pussy and get away with it, but you cannot refer to it in that context that they did in the film. So I did find it interesting, because I feel like the movie kind of wanted to be a rated R movie. And, it was meant to be for like grown-ups who had grown up with, or who, when they were kids, had read the comics and then had grown into the point where they like were ready for a little bit raunchier humor. And then like cast Tara Reid from American Pie, which is rated R. So you're kind of setting the bar at that level as well. And then I think Can't Hardly Wait is PG-13, but it's a fairly sort of like adulty teen comedy for what it is. So like, how adult does this feel to you now watching it as an adult?
Man, I have to tell you, it's not that adult to me, but maybe that just speaks a lot about me. The honk sign, that's probably the most out there kind of thing that I noticed, the reference. And then there was like that mention of stick my spoon in your pudding or something. And I didn't know if they were trying to like, I didn't know if I'm just a perv and I saw it and I heard that the way I heard it, or if they were trying to like make some sort of reference with that. But anyways, yeah, no, I honestly did not find this movie that inappropriate. I don't know.
That's fair. I think some of it was, yeah, well, I think some of it was like intentionally disguised, but, you have Alan Cumming's character try to murder this band, De Jour, in the very beginning of the film. But when De Jour comes out of the plane, I mean, their song is called Backdoor Lover.
Oh, I forgot about Backdoor. Oh my gosh, yes. It's funny. You'll see why it's funny that I forgot about it. That sounds weird. Don't worry. Or this podcast is PG-13. But no, I forgot that is like, yeah, a bad thing too. Well, not a bad thing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's not bad, but I think in 2001 it was pushing the envelope a little bit with what it's insinuating. And so that's how the movie starts. And I was like, okay, you're starting at this point and you have this boy band coming out. Their name is like Of the Day, right? So they're just like whatever the popular flavor is.
Your name's Friendship, Nick, okay?
Does it?
But yes.
So the way that you lead the audience into the movie is you have this boy band sort of like with the pop vocals and like with the presentation of the boy band and the production element where like it sounds like boy band music of the time. But then when you're talking about the lyrics, it's Backdoor Lover, but then a lot of it also is about like leaving your door open so that this person can sneak in during the night and make love to you while your husband's gone or something like that. And so it's like about an illicit affair, but then just the term backdoor lover is very loaded, I'll say. So
okay, that was an interesting choice of word.
Exactly. And then the way that they're dancing too, they're kind of like lined up in a certain position and thrusting. And I'm like, so there's so much like sexual innuendo that is present in their music. And then it turns out that like they're all these like petty infighting douchebags once they get sort of behind closed doors. I found it a fun way to start because you're setting the tone very early. And then when we get to Josie and the Pussycats and we're hearing their music, it's like it's about sort of relationship stuff, but it's not that. And so I think it cuts like a clear line in the sand between sort of like manufactured pop for consumption versus them being like punk rock, but then also kind of stepping into a position where now they're famous. So yeah, I feel like overall the tone of the movie is not like particularly adult. And I have to like remember that these girls are all like very young when they're doing this, even in comparison to something like Charlie's Angels. It seems like there's like a pretty big divide in age. And they're not like teenagers anymore, but they almost present as like maybe right out of high school or like
Right.
something of that age range.
But
So
I'm trying to
definitely
figure out
young.
what their ages are supposed to be in the movie because we're assuming they're like right out of high school, right? I'm
Yeah,
not.
we don't see them drinking. As far as I know, we don't see them like smoking either. I don't think they're ever doing drugs. So yeah, they feel like fairly wholesome punk rockers in that way. And I want to say just based on Tara Reid and Rachel Lee Cook coming from movies that are sort of famous teen comedies, they're probably supposed to be like 20, right?
Okay.
So I think that's fair enough. We don't see them go to school. We don't see them mention school.
There's no parents or anything that have to,
There's no parents.
like,
Yeah.
so we know that they're out of like high school at least, or they're over 18. We know that.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah,
So
that is interesting to note that they're not really like drinking or anything like that. So
yeah, they're pretty straight edge as far as like
wholesome.
rock bands go. And you know, we've seen so many times in movies that sort of focus on the life of a rock and roller, and like what it means to be rock and roll is like trashing a hotel, getting wasted, doing drugs, sleeping with groupies, that kind of thing. There's a very like stereotypical presentation of what it means to be a rock star. And so like by doing this, you have like three girls that just want to like hang out, play music together, be friends. It's a very wholesome approach, I think, to not just the casting, but the identity that you want to put forward for a group of young women in the industry. Because I mean, they're not selling sex. They're not selling like sexuality at all. Like in comparison to the boy band, that's why I found it was such an interesting choice, is that the boy band is coming out and they're singing these very particular kinds of lyrics and like they're dancing in a particular way. And then you see they frame like young girls in the audience, like going crazy for them. And so the filmmakers are very aware in the writing of what, wasn't there a band called O Street or something like that? There were a boy band for O Town. Thank you. Yeah. They have a song called Liquid Dreams or something like so very, very suggestive as well from the boy band era. And so I like that there is this inclusion of how that music and those characteristics are packaged when it comes to a boy band versus what sort of like authentic girl rock group is bringing to the table, because it draws a very clear line in the sand. And I think it's like you said, like you wanted them to be a real band, right? Like I think they are a positive influence that way in terms of what the world building says is music culture at the time.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you want to do the haikus right now?
Yes, I do want to do the haiku. Do we start right now, or do you want to go first? Or
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go first. Okay, so punk, pop, rock and roll, shop, buy, obey, in disguise, girls fight the power. I think that's right.
That was really good.
Thank you.
That was way better than mine, but we're gonna just shoot for the stars here.
Do it.
Du jour means friendship. Three small words. God, I already messed it up. Three small words. Backdoor lover. Totally jerkin'.
Yeah, I forgot. Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. The whole underground community trying to make jerkin a part of everyday lingo in terms of, oh, something's good, that's jerkin. I'm like, what is going on here? I mean, it's pretty funny.
I don't remember that word. Do you remember that word?
No, I don't at all.
Yeah.
This movie's jerkin, I guess.
Yeah, no, good job. I was waiting for the music. Didn't you, for the Wicker Man, didn't you play like some like music? I don't know.
Yes, there's a flute sound that comes in. That's all done in post-production. I think actually in this studio I actually can do it. But I have to upload the music first, and I haven't gotten that far with the studio.
Let's not worry about that. No, I was just waiting for that, and then I was gonna make my move. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yay, good job.
That's all the magic that happens behind the scenes.
I think that part of being a part of your videos is like my favorite. I think it's so creative and it's so silly and fun. Like I love the haiku part.
Thank you. I wanted to do something that I feel like was fun, engaging, creative, but also silly and like low stakes, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted it to be something that like only happened on this show. And like, because you only get 17 syllables to say something, like you're never going to be able to like capture the whole movie anyway. So that's like not really the point of what the synopsis haiku is. It's just to have fun and be silly and see what you can come up with. So thank you. Okay, let's take a look at the trailer. Before we get to the trailer, it's time for a quick commercial from the multiverse. The best way to tackle your hunger before the big concert is to grab a sub sandwich at Liminal Subs. All their subs come in 4, 8, or 12-inch varieties, and their bread is usually baked fresh at least once a week. But don't worry, it's loaded with enough preservatives to last a lifetime. Their sandwich techs are well-trained and tediously micromanaged to make sure your sub meets the minimum quality standards. And each deli meat is pre-sliced with surgical precision to make sure that you don't accidentally get more than you paid for. So when you're in a rush and need a quick fix for as cheap as possible, and you don't really care about quality as much as convenience, choose Liminal Subs. And now, back to the show. Oh, this.
For every band,
wrong
there is a
for
moment
oh, well.
when they know they have made it. For one band, this is not that moment.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I love that they're in a
Great crowd.
Okay, girls, we need the lane.
I made $5 to share.
They were three small-town girls with big-time dreams.
Who's a rock star? I am.
Who wanted to share their music with the world.
We can't sit around here waiting for it to happen. We are musicians. We should be out there playing music. We do play.
Nobody believed in them.
You know,
Missy Pyle's funny in this.
Oh, I love it.
But they believed in themselves.
We're special.
Oh, that was a joke back
Special
then.
ed.
too.
Now, in a world of tough competition,
And that is so sad.
fate is giving the Pussycats the chance of a lifetime.
We'd love for you to sign with Mega Records.
How am I going to pull this off? I'm a girl from Riverdale. I'm not a rock star.
You gotta believe in yourself.
Even just the record label.
Things are finally going their way. But between the
Some
maniac
generic, gigantic corporate brand.
They're gonna be huge.
the managers,
We decide everything.
What's hot and what's not.
Welcome to your party.
Who else thinks that Fiona's a freak?
and the media,
We're gonna be on TRL?
Mm-hmm. This may be the toughest gig they've ever played.
Have you noticed that everything has sort of become all about Josie? Josie.
Josie.
Josie!
Spin around. I made you a rock star.
Tell me you don't love that. Forget it.
The costuming in this movie is really good.
No matter
Even
what
not just
happens,
Fiona,
we will
but
always be friends first.
all of them have a lot of fun with the wardrobe.
Absolutely, yeah. I love the costuming. I love the hair. Like Josie's split hair. That was totally a style.
With the wrong pussycat.
My bad.
Josie and the Pussycats.
All right, rock and roll.
So I had forgotten about this, but I love how they make the tragedy of the band dying. Because Josie's saying that's so sad because they, but they make it look like she's saying that's so sad their performance, right? Like that's like what they were trying to do in the trailer, unless I missed that. So sad.
Oh.
Or did I miss that? Maybe. Oh God.
No, what does she say that about when she says that's so sad?
I thought she was. I thought that they were trying to make it like she was saying that is so sad. Like they're performing, like their performance of the song and everything. But she in the movie, she's saying that's so sad that they died. But they didn't say that they died in the trailer, right? Or that
No.
the plane crash or whatever. They didn't say the plane crash.
No, they didn't mention it. Not in the trailer.
So it has like du jour on like in the trailer it has du jour on the screen just like kind of doing their thing, back for love or whatever, and then it pans over to Josie and she's like, that is so sad. Like she's talking about like their music is so sad. But yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting, unless I got that wrong.
No, I think that's what the trailer wanted to do, was cut it that way.
Yeah. No, I know they did, but I'm just saying that that's funny because she totally was not insulting their music. She was sad because they had the plane crash and everything. You're talking about the styling and everything. I love the outfits and stuff. Some of the hair was questionable. Like one thing that I don't remember from that time, which I always found weird, was Tara Reid's knotted hair. Do you remember that? Like the little knots? And all I'm thinking is, ooh, that looks like a pain in the ass to get out.
Yeah, it's not quite like dreadlocks, but it's like she's been at the beach a lot and her hair is like getting a little matted and just,
No, it's this. It's like literally a knot, and I'm not going to do it. Or maybe I will and fuck myself up, but it's like,
don't damage your hair.
She has like these, like it's crazy, and I'm, it's funny because maybe that did exist somewhere at some time, but when you see things from a certain era and you're just like, did they just make that for the movie, or was that actually a trend back then? It's just kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she just like sleeps a lot and so she's got kind of like bedhead thing going on, but like we never like really see that. Like we don't know that much about them, honestly, by the time that they're popular, which is kind of like, we know a little bit about Josie because she's got the crush in the real world that we need to learn about and sort of have that moment. And even that sort of like the swerve, the red herring with like him wanting to confess his non-existent feelings for her at the time. And then, how do you tell a guy at work that he smells really bad, right?
I loved that kind of segue into that because I couldn't tell, and I still don't know, is he like maybe trying to confess that he liked her, but then he just kind of like said that just, or was he really talking about this guy at work? I loved that moment. It was so awkward. And she just kind of like hits herself in the head with the wrench. She's like, oh, why did I think he was going to start talking about me? I love that so much because she's obviously like so hot and everything, but then she's like, oh, why would he be talking about me?
Well, I like the sort of gender dynamics between the two of them too, because he's asking her for help on his old truck. So it's like he's got the classic car, but she knows how to fix it. She knows what kind of car it is and how the car should be treated. She's also the punk rocker, and he's sort of like the soft, sensitive singer-songwriter type. And so the juxtaposition of those two characters, I think, works really well with what the rest of the film is trying to do and how it's speaking about music culture. So we get a lot of fun with that. And like, he's a good character for what the movie wants to do, but like, you could probably remove him as a love interest and still have like mostly the same movie. Like you get a couple funny scenes out of him, and I get that like you kind of want to have some happy ending for some of the characters romantically, because that's just kind of like what movies from this era like need to do. So it's just nice to see that, given that she sort of got famous from a movie like She's All That, versus now like that identity is swapped, where it's like he's kind of the dork and she's the badass punk rocker who can fix a truck no problem. So nice to see that the dynamic shifted there. You want to do some trivia right now?
Time for trivia.
Yeah, I once again, like I said, I do know a good amount about this movie, but I am not promising anything with the trivia. Well, let's do it.
That's fair. I kept it sort of light, so we'll see. We already talked about the product placement in this film. Approximately how many companies have a product placed in this movie? I'll give you margin of error of, we'll say, 10.
Okay, so it's not 10, it's like more than that. Is that what you're saying?
It's more than 10, but I'm saying you can still get the question right if you're off by 10 or less.
Shit. So how many, if I were to just guess how much product placement, how many different products, I knew it was going to be a question like this. So
it's a tedious one.
I'm going to say 19.
73.
Shut up! Oh my God, how embarrassing. This trivia is, I'm already telling you right now, this is going to be so embarrassing because, oh gosh. Yeah, oh my God. Okay, that's fine. I'm done. I'm over it. Wow.
Yeah.
You said 73?
73 different companies, approximately.
Wow.
73 different companies have product placement shown, from either it being just logos like the McDonald's shower, her loofah, or like her sponge in the shower. Yeah. And then when she puts it down, there's also like a hamburger or something over there.
Wait, was it, I mean, the question's over, but was it like, does one brand count for as many times as it's shown, or was that like how many times a brand was shown? Because I was trying to think so that I would have considered one for McDonald's.
Yes. So it's
as opposed to 6 or however many was in her bathroom. I don't know.
Well, the way that the answer to the question is phrased is 73 companies. So it's how many different brands total were represented in the movie. And so, I mean, 73 is a lot. Like every single scene, there is an ad jam-packed into it. But like the movie did not take any money for any of the product placement, because that's not what the intent of the film was. The intent was to show how product placement has sort of like polluted pop culture, and we see that on full display here. And I mean, it's fun to see like how crazy they went with it. Like the entire hotel room they stay in is like dressed up by Target, and however many thousands of them.
Online hotel, I think, right?
Yes, it's the AOL hotel, right?
That is insane to think about. Oh man.
You open the door, the doorbell is just like the sound of the old dial-up modem screeching. You've got mail. Okay, let's go to question number 2. So, like we said earlier, the girls went to band camp. They trained, but they did not perform their own music. Rachel Lee Cook's singing voice was dubbed by the lead singer of what band?
Oh shit. I don't know, because for some reason, I didn't do a lot of research, but for some reason I thought they did sing their.
I think Rosario did some of her vocals, but as far as I could tell from reading, the other two did not. But
you realize you're crushing my dreams from back when I was a kid, thinking this was a real band, and now I'm finding out they didn't even sing. Man, okay.
Neither did Milli Vanilli, and they were super famous and popular. So look, it's okay. The singer was Kay Hanley from the band Letters to Cleo.
Okay, I don't know who that
Me
is. Okay.
I'll take it at face value. Who knows? The internet's full of lies. That might not even be true. It
might be Rachel Lee Cook's like hidden band that she does, like she is like
It's
that
her
band
alter
in
ego, yeah.
her alter ego. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's playing 4D chess with us here.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
Okay, so question number 3 then. The concert at the end of the film was shot at which venue on the West Coast? Give you a little bonus. Yeah, that's a hard question. It's not fair.
I feel like, because I'm gonna say right now, like I don't know, but I feel like when you tell me, I'm gonna be like, oh, that was one of the things that I looked up, because I thought that I was smart in looking up like certain details from the movie, but of course those are always the things that won't be asked. So I
You
don't
never
know.
know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was shot at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, which I did not expect.
Oh shit. I
But
wouldn't get that.
I wouldn't either, so I don't feel bad. In order to get as many people as they could in the Coliseum to make it look like a sold out show, though, free tickets were given out at record stores around Canada with the promise of a performance by the band B44, which was a popular boy band in Canada at the time. And so that boy band then came out and acted as like a hype man for the scenes that they actually filmed, and they performed their song a bunch of times in between takes of the concert scene for Josie and the Pussycats. Crazy what you got to do.
I'm learning. I'm gonna look at this in a positive way. I'm not getting things wrong. I'm learning. So you're teaching me about it.
That's a healthy attitude. And really, the trivia is not meant to really be a competition. It's just meant to shed some light on some of these things. But speaking of the music, the film soundtrack was very well received and actually certified gold within a month and a half of the film's release. So even as the movie flopped at the box office, almost 2 decades later, the soundtrack then gets re-released on vinyl. So it gets pressed in, 2021? So not really all that long ago that the demand for the actual album for the soundtrack is still high. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, good to see the staying power. We talked a little bit about Riverdale and sort of what this movie was doing, and the film was actually meant to be the first in a series of live action adaptations of Hanna-Barbera cartoons that were supposed to be geared towards the older audiences that grew up with them, with sort of like raunchier humor. And so this film's failure, unfortunately, killed off those plans, and the film after this, which was Scooby-Doo, ended up getting edited down to be a PG-rated film to then avoid repeating this film's mistake.
All right.
And in a weird bit of connective tissue, I had just released an episode on Charlie's Angels. And so above, great fun movie as well. So above the picture of the girls on one of the magazine covers, the headline says that Drew Barrymore, Cameron Diaz, and Lucy Liu were cast to play the band in an upcoming movie. So the editor of this film, Peter Teschner, is also the editor of Charlie's Angels from 2000. So you have some of that like similar energy, that sort of tongue-in-cheek, we're willing to make fun of ourselves, but also understand our place within the genre. And in the control room scene, one of the scrolling marquee messages says "Can't Hardly Wait" was underrated. And obviously Can't Hardly Wait was written by Elfont and Kaplan, directed by them as well. And it also includes all 4 members of De Jour as members of the cast of Can't Hardly Wait. And so sadly, this was the last feature film as directors for Harry Elfont and Deborah Kaplan. The film's failure was particularly bad for them. Pretty much ended their careers as directors, and also basically ended the career of the producer Kenneth Edmonds, who never produced another film after this. And even all of the cast members took pretty big hits to their careers after this. And Rosario was the only one who really like bounced back hard, but she did Rent and something else right after this that I can't quite. Oh, Sin City. So she had some really like big movies that helped her sort of rebound. And it's sad because,
How sad is that? Like, oh my gosh.
Because it's not any of their faults, it's not this failure on the actress's parts to deliver good performances. And honestly, like when Rachel Lee Cook turns heel and she becomes like the mean Josie, I'm like, she's really good at that.
She's so good. Like she almost she would make me cry. Like totally.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. I was like, well, because like we see her as Josie, she's very like unsure of herself, and she doesn't really like talk to the boy that she likes in the way that she wants to. And then like as soon as she becomes like the conceited, egotistical version of Josie from the subliminal messaging, like when she flips that switch, I'm like, damn, she's a really good villain in this.
It's so jarring. It almost catches you off guard. I think that that's one of the best things about this movie, like just that flip. I mean, it's really sad, for the other girls, but man, she does such a good job, Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, she's intimidating and she's mean, and she seems to like really enjoy being mean in that moment in the film. And I'm like, damn, I wonder if she's done any other work where she's like played one of the mean girls, because usually she's cast on the other side where she's the dork girl wearing glasses, or she's the punk rocker who's a little bit awkward, and
So
I don't know.
I can't remember because I haven't seen it in so long, but and She's All That, when she becomes hot, doesn't she get kind of like an attitude where she's like, I don't know, I can't remember it enough, but I feel like there was like another moment where she kind of took this like, I don't know, this turn.
Maybe.
Like she was quiet and meek, and then all of a sudden like blah, I don't know.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I really liked that movie a lot at the time. I haven't seen it probably since it was doing its cable run around the time. So I don't know. Maybe I'll watch that one again soon. Got to do a whole Rachel Lee Cook deep dive to find out the roles where she's been the most evil. That's a whole nother side project. All right. What is your favorite number between 1 and 5? I know this is a weird sounding question, but
3.
3. Okay, let's go to the bonus wheel. We'll spin it 3 times. Let's see what we get first off the wheel.
I thought you were going to say my favorite number as in my favorite song from the movie.
You can tell me your favorite song from the movie.
Probably 3 small words that I keep wanting to say worlds. 3 small words.
Yeah, it's a good one. Okay, so you get to pick one character from this movie and tell me what they would be posting on social media the morning after the events of the film.
So I'm going to choose Melody, because, a character from the movie. So Melody, and she would be saying, I'm going to my local animal shelter and I'm going to be adopting every animal in the shelter. And in order to do that, with all the fame that we have now, I will have a separate mansion built specifically for all of these animals so that they have their own place to stay.
Yeah, that's on brand for her.
It'll be called the Puppy Palace.
Melody's Puppy Palace. I like that.
Yes. Puppy and Pussy Palace. Because cats are allowed as well.
Cats are welcome here.
Obviously.
Okay. Let's see. You said your favorite song that's in the movie. So what is a song that you feel like should be on the soundtrack of this movie but is not?
Oh my God. You're asking like not the best music person, because I'm definitely a movie person, but let's see. Music song. Oh my God, I can't think. What should be in this movie?
Yeah, maybe a Spice Girl song.
um, come on and do it.
There you go.
Yeah, because just do it, Yeah, Spice Girls.
Yeah,
You
I
can
mean,
never go
it's a
wrong with
fitting choice.
them.
Yeah, a fitting choice, I would say. Okay, you got
Because also, sorry.
no, go for it.
Because I was saying also it, applies to just like going after your dreams and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if there's like some uh underlying stuff that the song was supposed to mean, but I think that it also has to do with just like friends coming together and going after their dreams. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's very fitting for what this is. Okay, so last one off the board. Which minor character from this movie deserves their own spin-off, and what would that spin-off be about?
So I'm guessing minor character would just not be the Pussycats, right? Because
Pretty
Fiona
much any besides the
is
three.
my favorite character of the movie.
Yeah, let's see Fiona's villain origin story.
I want to know, and I also want to know like what happened with her and Wyatt and everything. But even if Wyatt's not involved, I just want to know what Fiona does later after all this, because this was like her master plan. Like this was her everything, and now she doesn't have it. So what is she doing with her lispy self? Actually, her name's Lisa, so we have to call her that if she's going to have like another. But yeah,
Lispy Letha.
Lispy Lisa. But no, I think that character is so much more than what she was in that movie. And I mean, Parker Posey just in general is. I think she's a comedic genius. I think she's very talented.
Yeah.
And she's diverse. She definitely gets like put in specific roles like that she can really pull off, but she's very diverse. She can do like so many different things. So yeah, I would love a Fiona / Lisping Letha spinoff or whatever.
I mean, she's still working. She's had like a career resurgence in like the last handful of years with more and more roles. So I mean, if there was ever a time.
Actually, we had done Wicker Man, with Molly Parker. She and Molly Parker were in that space show. I can't remember the name of it now, but Lost in Space. Yeah, Lost in Space.
Oh.
And I did see her in that, and she was fucking hilarious.
That's awesome. Well,
yeah.
We're gonna go to more or less now. But given that we're just talking about how much you love lisping Lisa, give me one thing that you want more of in this movie, and one thing that you want less of in the movie.
Well, I don't want to repeat myself. Obviously, more Fiona stuff. More. I don't want to keep that as my answer because I feel like that's such a cheap answer, but that is actually what I had in my head when you said that.
That's fair. Just
more parts with her. I know I want less. I know as a woman, I feel like I would want more of these, but I want kind of less montages. Like, I felt like they did like way too much. Like, obviously, and the makeup, the makeover montage, it was just too long. Like, they did way too much with that. Like, they were at some points like cleaning their ears out. Like, you're not doing that. Like when you're getting ready for it just went on way too long. And while I appreciate a good like makeover montage, maybe we're successful now montage, there was just a little bit too much. So yeah, I just say more Fiona and less montage.
That's fair. I mean, montages is always a slippery slope because it's fun, but when you start having too much fun, and I mean, like Rocky IV is a movie where like 60% of the movie is just music montage, and if you treat it like a music video and you like music videos, then it's kind of fun. But like, if you want more of the movie itself, I see that it could be frustrating. I think I want more original Pussycats music. I want to hear like more than just that one song. Like I want to see sort of them like, because the movie is like borderline a musical, but they sort of fall back on that same one song. And realistically, it's like, hey, they're a brand new band. They may only really have that one song that they've worked on a lot at this point. And I think that's totally fair. But just, I think from a perspective of the way that the film is paced, like you said, in the scene where that montage is going on, like if that's an original song that becomes sort of like a musical number in the movie, it serves the same purpose, but actually carries it forward in a way where we get the new original music. Plus we get to see them do this and it doesn't feel as montagey, you know. Less that is a good question. Maybe less Carson Daly.
Oh my gosh, I'm not even kidding. You're gonna think I'm copying you. I was thinking that. Okay, the only reason I say that is because the scene, the scene, like where it's like TLR, what did he say? This is TLR death or whatever. I don't know what he said, but it goes on like too long. I don't know. Yeah, and then he comes up
It is
again
kind of long.
later, and yeah, no, I agree with you.
Well, like him and Tara Reid end up dating during the course of this movie, and then they get engaged, but then they're not together anymore by the end of 2001. So, obviously not a long-lasting relationship of any kind. But
so she had enough of him too.
Yeah, when she smacked him with that cutout of Matt Damon, she's like, "Yeah, this is the way it probably should have been."
Wouldn't that have been crazy if she ended up with Matt Damon? That would have been crazy.
That would have been way too coincidental, right? That Josie and the Pussycats subliminally messaging Matt Damon at that point. So yeah, definitely could go with less Carson. I mean, yes, he was certainly a big part of like pop culture at the time that he's in this movie, and you're sort of casting him against type by going from like, oh, the nice guy, everybody loves this sort of video DJ guy, to he's trying to kill this woman with a baseball bat. Yeah, I kind of like Ari Spears in that, although I feel like he might not be famous enough to carry that scene alone without Carson Daly at that point in his career, because I feel like him breaking into the impressions and like trying to kill them as Bill Cosby or as Chris Rock or as Eddie Murphy, and then Rosario Dawson like critiquing his comedy set as he's doing it. I feel like that's where that scene is actually like at its best, and sort of Carson Daly being like a psychopath talking about how much he would love to date Melody if he weren't trying to kill her. That's where that scene is the weakest. So yeah, sorry Carson, he's not gonna listen to this anyway, so somebody tell him that we didn't like it.
Aliens on Fire and Bad Movies We Love, we could use a little less Carson in our life.
We had plenty throughout the course of our lives already. I don't need him in this movie as well. Okay. Was there anything in your notes in particular that you really wanted to talk about that we have not talked about yet?
Oh my goodness. It's funny because I have anything else and there's literally nothing there. So maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah, I think because I wanted to make this as just like organic as possible and not like have all this stuff written down and whatever. So if anything came up naturally, I was gonna mention it. But no, I think I have to tell you, and I'm not just trying to kiss your ass here, like you're really good at like covering a lot of the trivia and like the behind the scenes kind of stuff that people don't really know about, like the casting choices and things like that, and then even me not knowing that they didn't actually sing, which is crazy to me because I just want to show really quick. This was actually the guitar that I had when I was trying to become Josie the Pussycats. So this is from when I was a kid. It says Harry Potter on it, actually. There's a Harry
Okay.
Potter on it. But anyways, I would jam out with this thing, and don't ask me to play anything. But when I was a kid, I would pretend like I knew how to play, and I would put cat ears on. And then actually this right here is my drum from band, because I was in band in high school.
Oh.
So this is my snare drum right here, and sometimes I would be melody and playing. So, anyways, but
Is it from your new Spice Girls era?
Yes, no, it was totally like that. It was like, all right, we're moving on to, I guess, other things. But yeah, no, I thought
Bethany
that I
and
would
the
have
Pussycats.
I thought I would have these in the background and just tell you a little bit about, because I love that I just kept these things.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Okay, well, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
A lot of the time with my note taking, I used to sort of be very diligent about like wanting to go back through my notes and making sure that I like pointed things out. But for the most part, like I kind of only use my notepad to just make sure that the thing that I thought, that I write it down. So that way I make sure that it's rattling around somewhere in my head. And looking back at it now, like I don't really think there's anything that I didn't say. Right. So I feel like it happened naturally, like you said.
Perfectly. Yes.
Just enough, not too much that it's going to turn people off, but not enough.
You didn't appear cocky.
Exactly. That's the key. Okay. Let's go to Critics Corner and we'll hear what the media had to say about this movie.
All right.
So we've got a 47 Metascore overall. So not great. We start at the bottom with a 10, but there's 2 10s on the board, and you get to choose between the New York Times and the Chicago Reader.
Oh, the New York Times.
All right, this is A.O. Scott from the New York Times says few people other than future airline passengers should be subjected to such misery.
Wow.
Yeah. Look, if I had this option, if I watched this on an airplane, I feel like my flight would be better.
I always make it a point to watch movies I would never watch in my life on long flights. That's when I watch like movies I would never like normally watch. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's an insult about this movie sort of getting relegated to playing on airline streaming services, but joke's on you, A.O. Scott. I would enjoy this on the airplane because it's the exact opposite of the experience I'm having sitting on that airplane. So little escapism for us. Okay, let's go up the ladder.
Hopefully the plane does not crash while you're watching it.
Yeah. Well, maybe we land it safely and then get beat up at a Metallica concert.
Oh God, there's always that.
Yeah, there's always that. Okay, let's go up the board to Susan Wolzins. I'm butchering that. I'm sorry. USA Today gave it a 38 out of 100. Says the concept is so hypocritical. It's like Britney Spears calling Christina Aguilera underdressed and overexposed. So she didn't get it.
Is this person like, I mean, how do they even have the credentials to be making these claims?
they just hand out writing jobs to anybody off the street these days. But yeah, I think the idea that the movie's hypocritical operates from a place of, oh, you're just taking all of the money from all of these sponsors. Like, so yeah, I guess if you look at the movie as like a shameless product placement, like it's basically like a long commercial then, if you're looking at it that way. Um, but if you don't know that like they're not actually getting paid by any of these sponsors, then you wouldn't have the context to sort of understand the point that the movie is making about commercialism. Because like say the movie's doing the same exact thing, like it's the same joke, it's the same commentary, but it's all products that we've never seen before, right? It would have no impact to us as the viewer if it isn't specific to brands that we recognize. Like that is the point of what the movie is doing.
Right.
So sorry, USA Today. That's a L. Okay, let's see. We've got film.com and the Washington Post on the board with 40s. So you can choose between film.com and the Washington Post.
The Washington Post.
Okay, Washington Post. This is Michael O. Sullivan says Cumming manages to keep the film's pandering in check with every wicked eyebrow raise. Oh, well, Alan Cumming is great. So I don't disagree that he's sort of I'm not going to say he's the moral compass for the movie, because he's not. And he's not quite the narrator either, but he's sort of like the train conductor. Like he sort of makes sure that the movie is on pace the way it's supposed to be on pace, and that like the jokes and the humor sort of has beginning, middle, end punchline stuff, so that like the movie flows in a certain way. So yeah, I think that's fair enough.
He's like the pilot, and I feel like Parker Posey is like the co-pilot. Like they kind of bounce off each other like really good to like kind of keep it steady. Yeah. No,
I wouldn't mind. They're both still working. They would be a lot of fun to see like reprise these roles. Like maybe they've gotten out of jail or something and they come back to these characters. I was just talking about a Nick Cage movie last night where he filmed it in 1993. His character dies in it, but then somehow he plays that character again in a movie in 2017. And so like it's a real head scratcher, but it's such a crazy character that I'm like, I kind of want to see it again. So
yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's jump over the Chicago Tribune that came in with the 50, and we'll go to Rolling Stone because it's Peter Travers. He gave it a 60 out of 100, says it's harmless, girly trifle, or at least it means to be. That seems kind of insulting for a movie that he reviewed positively.
What is trifle besides a dessert?
I've heard it used where like somebody has called somebody trifling. So I think it's just meant to be like a thing of like fluff. Let me see. Yes, it is an English, or excuse me, a cold dessert of sponge cake and fruit covered with layers of custard. That's not what he's talking about. I think the way he's using it is as a noun, a thing of little value or importance. Yeah.
What an ass.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't have a good reputation around these parts. I'm surprised he gave it a 60, honestly, because at least he enjoyed some part of it because he came in above the line in the positive side. So let's see. All right, we close it out at the top. We've got a 70 that I'll read, and then we got two 75s on the board. So the first one is LA Weekly. This is Chuck Wilson. Says, a surprisingly smart satire around the bubblegum band that first found life in the pages of Archie comic book series. Yes, it is a satire. Thank you for actually recognizing that, Chuck.
Wow, yes.
Okay, so somebody at least paid attention in class. All right, so we've got the Baltimore Sun and the Boston Globe are our two options at the top. What do you want to go with?
Did you say the Boston Globe?
Boston Globe or Baltimore Sun?
Baltimore Sun. Let's do Boston Globe.
Boston Globe, this is Jay Carr, says, mindless glitzoramas don't get any snazzier. I mean, yeah,
Is
it's
he
just
talking about them? Like their mindless glitzoramas, or these types of movies?
yeah, I think the movie being sort of like shiny and poppy and fun and not really thoughtful, but like considering he gave it like a 3 out of 4 here, I would say it's actually not a mindless movie. I think it can be if you don't want it to be, but yeah, like my experience with it was like most of my feeling during the movie was like, wow, I didn't quite realize how much of like an anti-capitalist, anti-corporate message this movie really has at the heart of it. And I found that to be, endearing and surprising for me. So whatever, we'll take the 75. Like it helps bring up the score. So who cares?
Whenever I made a 75 in class, that was always a win.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Well, I want to hear what your gateway drug movie is for this because it's from an era that has a lot of competition. So for people that have not seen Josie and the Pussycats, maybe what's a good companion film that that maybe we've talked about before that would fit the bill as a launching pad for them to check out Josie and the Pussycats?
I know what you think I want to say, and you are correct. So of course I want to say Spice World, but for this particular movie, I'm gonna go with Glitter, starring Mariah Carey.
Oh, that's a good choice.
I feel like the vibe kind of matches this one a little bit better. Like, yeah. And I haven't watched it in like a long time, so I'm not going to go into like a full talk about it, but I do remember it being very much like this movie. So I'm going to go with Glitter.
That's a good choice.
And also because the Spice Girls in Spice World, it's like they're already famous like when the movie is happening. So it's like while it's the same, some of the vibes are the same. It's like not quite on the same path as Josie and the Pussycats. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. For some reason, I still think Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It just has a similar vibe. I think particularly Mary Elizabeth Winstead has some energy that reminds me of what Rachel Lee Cook is bringing to this movie. It's definitely stylistically like colorful and loud and crazy and really like goes for its stylistic choices in a similar way. The movies are not particularly similar structurally, but I feel like tonally they're close. Like they're both fun kind of adventure movies. Obviously one is like sort of like a video game come to life, and so you get that kind of energy from it. But yeah, for some reason, like that was the movie that I felt the most when I was watching this again. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, and it's probably, I think, more widely accepted as being a good movie that people have enjoyed. So
Yeah, absolutely. I with you on that.
cool. Well, we've come to the end of our journey here, and I want to give you a chance to tell the people about where they can find you online, where they can check out what you're doing with Aliens on Fire. What plugs do you have for us?
Okay. So on Instagram, we are, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. I have to make sure because I actually plugged this wrong when I was on somebody else's show where I said underscore. It's actually a dot. So we are aliens.on.fire on Instagram and Aliens on Fire on YouTube if you just look it up. And I was going to say I'm doing this sort of new thing on my personal account where I vlog various trips. It's more of like a travel
That's cool.
sort of thing that I'm doing. I recently went on a Twin Peaks weekender sort of thing. And that was really fun. So I'm going to, on my personal account, I'm going to have more like travel stuff and whatever. So less movie talk, more travel. If you're interested in that, it is Bethany_Summersizzle. Yeah. And besides that, on Aliens on Fire, we post at least a couple times a month. So you can check out what we have to say about movies and sometimes really random things that we just choose to talk about. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, I am officially subscribed with the network page now, so we're connected. And of course, like anybody that's listening to this, just look at the show notes and then you just tap the screen, or if you're listening to this and on a computer, you just like click the link, and you know how that works. It takes you to the place you need to go, and you'll find Bethany very easily.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say thank you once again for coming on the show. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
I always have such a great time with you, Nick. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And I know this was sort of more my pick than it was yours. So next one, you get to choose. I will not give you any suggestions. I know I have a list already for you as well of movies that you recommended to me. So we can circle back and cover one of those. But thank you for stepping in and taking Josie and the Pussycats, because I was worried there for a second that no one was going to do it. So thank you.
You can always count on me.
I appreciate it. And you have yourself a good night, okay?
You as well. Thank you. Bye.
One more quick but big thank you to Bethany for coming back on the show and tackling Josie and the Pussycats with me. We had gotten to do our little Spice World bonus episode, but I wanted to give her an opportunity to come back and do the full, proper show. And I had a great time with her as always. If you had a great time with her as well, then I would encourage you to check out Aliens on Fire. That's her YouTube channel where she does video essays and other fun, creative things. You can also find her and the Aliens on Fire show on Instagram. So make sure to have a look at the show notes, because links for all of her stuff is going to be right there, easy access for you. And speaking of the show notes, while you're there, check out the rest of the Scheist Podcast Network, which includes Hers, His, and Ours, Ex-Friends, the original Scheist Podcast, and Kunked, a comedy podcast dedicated to Philomena Kunk. And in the show notes, you will also find the listener survey where you can give me a piece of your mind, and it's completely anonymous. And of course, thank you to everyone who took the time to listen to not just this episode, but the entire show. The podcast options are plentiful, so the fact that you took the time to listen to this show and to trust me with that time means a lot to me, and I appreciate it. So until next time, be good, do good, watch movies, and have fun. Take care, everybody.